wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah, tonight we will resume our Tafseer from verse number 12, verse number 13, Surah Abasa, Surah 80. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم في صحف مكرمة. Translation: it is in records held in honor. My noble audience, brothers and sisters and dear children, in the past verses Allah Almighty made mention of the inspiring story of Abdullah bin Maktoum. We do not have to spend much time on that story because I believe it is very, very fresh in the mind. As we know that the people of Mecca mostly denied the message of Islam in the early days. And the message revolved around the Quran. Prophet Muhammad was giving da'wah to the people of Mecca, basically the leaders, and these leaders could not be found in one venue at one time. Remember what I'm trying to say? We spoke about this last week. So basically these people just turned away, did not accept the message. Now Allah Almighty from verse 13 onwards makes mention of the veracity, the authenticity, the might of the book. The book alluding to the glorious Quran. So Allah Almighty says, Fi suhufim mukarrama. It is, meaning the Quran, in records held greatly in honor. Now, suhuf, this word suhuf, is the plural of sahifa. Suhuf is the plural of sahifa. And this is a reference to the preserved tablet. And according to understanding, there's only one preserved tablet. Allah Almighty speaks about that preserved tablet in the last verse of Surah Buruj, Fi lawhin mahfuz. Now, why did Allah use the plural of sahifatun, suhuf, for the preserved tablet that is one? It should have been fi sahifatin mukarrama, not fi suhufin mukarrama. Does it make sense? So the scholars have said, one of the reasons why the plural word has been used rather than the singular, because there are many, many scriptures that have been inscribed in that one preserved tablet. Because there are so many different divine books in that one preserved tablet, Allah used the plural rather than the singular. Does it make sense? Secondly, the second reason is that many, many angels that are scribes, they will use that one preserved tablet to write down many things. Because they are writing so many things, Allah has used the plural rather than the singular. But we should remember that there's only one preserved tablet. And this preserved tablet, I can give it another name. It is a computer that is encompassing everything that is going to unfold. So it has an amazing memory, amazing chip, that everything that is going to unfold can be found in that preserved tablet. Fi suhufin mukarrama. And it is honorable. That tablet is honorable. Next one. Marfu'atin mutahhara. Exalted. That those that are scribes, that are copying from the preserved tablet, or the information that is in that preserved tablet is elevated. Now we are speaking about the Quran, marfu'a, that the Quran is exalted. Because the Quran is in the preserved tablet, And this has elevated the status of the preserved tablet as well. Now the scholars have said that if the Lawh Mahfuz can be exalted because it is the container of the Quran, what about a human being? If he becomes the container of the Quran by practicing, adhering, respecting the Quran, Allah will elevate him as well. And that's why it has been said that this Quran will be the means of many people being elevated, and it will be the means of many people dropping. So those that accept and adhere, Allah will elevate them. And those that reject and deny and decline, they will drop. So marfu'ah, this is one of the characteristics of this Quran, that it is there to elevate us. It has come to elevate us, to place us on the highest podium. Now something that is elevated or something that is exalted, it has to be given in proportion the same respect. So now Allah Almighty says mutahhara, purified. Purified. Now the scholars have said that a person that is in the state of sexual defilement, known as junub, if he has been intimate with his wife, wife has been intimate with the husband, or the person had a wet dream, they are considered to be impure. They are not allowed to touch the Quran because it is exalted. It is mukarrama. It is honorable. La yamassuhu illa al-mutahharun. You're not allowed to touch this. Now, this law applies to the adults, not to the minors. So the Muslim fuqaha have said that if a minor child, a minor, he touches the Quran without wudu, it is not haram. But of course it is not advisable for his tarbiyyat, for his upbringing, for his grooming. So if it is one-off and he picks up the Quran without wudu, it is acceptable. But if he makes this his habit, he has to be corrected, because most probably he will carry this habit when he becomes a bit older. But the ruling is a youngster who has not reached the age of puberty, balugha, can touch the Quran without wudu. Now many a times a person is not in the state of wudu. He may find the Quran in a place where it should not be, and he wants to pick it up. You can pick it up with a cloth, as long as that cloth is not a part of the Quran. Many a times we find that there's a binding, a jild, a binding. Yes, and that is a part of the Quran. It doesn't have any writing, but when you pick it up, it is picked up with it. So anything that cannot be separated will be classified as the Quran. So many a times we find the Quran in a cloth cover. I would like you to depict that. There's a pocket cloth cover and you put the Quran into it. That can be separated. So you can touch the Quran with that cloth. But if the cloth cannot be separated from the Quran, then it will be considered a part of the Quran. Then the law will apply, la yamassuhu illa al-mutahharun. And it doesn't matter if it is an Arabic Quran or an English Quran or a Quran in any other language, it will hold the same merit. The same law will apply, la yamassuhu illa al-mutahharun. So if a person is junbi, he needs to take a bath before he touches the Quran. Menstrual discharge, known as hayd. So ladies, they will discharge for 3 to 10 days every month. When they are in that state, they are considered to be impure. They are not allowed to touch the Quran. Now the law pertaining to junub and hayd and postnatal bleeding when a lady gives birth to a child, she may bleed from 1 second to 40 days. I use the word 1 second because there is no minimum period term to postnatal bleeding. So if one lady gives birth and she does not believe, she will take a bath and immediately start to pray. Maximum is 40 days. So if she stops bleeding before 40, whenever she stops, she will take a bath and she will start to pray. Now, this kind of impurity, and that is sexual defilement, menstrual discharge, postnatal bleeding, this is known as major impurity. And when I say major, it means you cannot touch the Quran and you cannot read the Quran off by heart. You cannot touch the Quran and you cannot even read from your memory. So if one person is junbi or one lady is in the state of hayd or in the state of nifas, indeed they cannot touch the Quran, but in addition to that, they cannot even sit down and read any part of the Quran off by heart. The only thing they can do is recite those ayat from the Quran with the intention of dua that start with Rabbana Atina, Rabbana Atina, Rabbana Zalamna. But it has to be with the intention of supplication. So a lady sits down and she wants to make dua, she can recite these ayat with the intention of dua. Furthermore, the scholars, the Muslim jurists have made mention that if a lady is a teacher, or if a child is a student, this will cause a lot of disturbance in the educational sector. So they have come up with a ruling that will facilitate the muallima and the tilmidha to study and educate. And that is that they will break up the verse. So for example, if it is Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, now this does not fall under a dua, the ayat, because it doesn't start with Rabbana. But the muallima, she wants to teach the girl, and let's say both of them are in the state of major impurity. So the muallima will say Alhamdulillah, and she will pause. Then she will say Rabbil, pause. Alameen, pause. So she will not recite the entire ayah in one go. She will break it up into fragments, and by doing that, it is allowed. Doing that is allowed. Does it make sense? Second, so keep in mind these impurities are major, not allowed to touch, not allowed to read, not even allowed to be in the masjid. Junbi, Hayz, Nifas are not even allowed to be in the masjid. But if a person is in the state of minor impurity, terminology used is Hadas Asghar, then they are not allowed to touch, but they are allowed to read. They are not allowed to touch, but they are allowed to read. They are allowed to go to the masjid. And that is when a person has defecated or urinated. If a person has defecated or urinated, pakhana kiya, peshab kiya, he will be considered in the state of minor impurity. He is not allowed to touch the Quran, but he is allowed to read the Quran. He is allowed to go to the masjid and sit in the masjid in that state. So what is Allah Almighty saying? That this Quran is marfu'ah. It is exalted, mukarrama, honorable. So there are certain laws that have to be upheld because this Quran is mutahhara. Now, purity, tahara, means purity. Basically, there are two words used in Arabic for purity. One is tahara and one is tazkiyah. In Arabic, there are two words basically used for purity. Now, when it comes to external purity, The word basically used is tahara. That's why when you read the books of jurisprudence, you will come to know that the chapter is Kitabut Tahara, the book of purity, and under that will be the laws pertaining to ablution, wudu. And wudu enables us to attain external purity. Because it's external, washing the face, washing the arms, washing the feet, wiping the head. So tahara basically is external purity. And tazkiyah is internal purity. Does it make sense? Tazkiyah wa yuzakkihim is internal, and tahara is zahir, the external. Now Allah Almighty in this ayah has made mention of the external purity. Marfu'atin mutahhara, that a person has to be externally purified. Because if this mutahhara was inclusive to internal, then we were not allowed to touch the Quran at any time, because most of us have sickness inside. Most of us have sickness inside. There will not be many in the Muslim world right now that can claim that they have purity perfectly inside. There will be some atom, some germ of sin that lies in the heart. So this marfu'atin mutahhara is not inclusive to the tazkiyah, but it is alluding to the tahara that is external. So many a times we will have to take ghusl, a bath, and many a times wudu will suffice. So we will have to learn the laws pertaining to hadath akbar and hadath asghar. And in your local masajid, you can ask your imams to teach you the laws pertaining to tahara. Bi'aydi safara, in the hands of scribes, angels. Now, safara, according to many scholars, is the plural of safir. Safara is the plural of safir. It can be the plural of safir as well, but we don't want to get into that tonight. So we will say safara is the plural of safir, and safir means scribe. That there are scribes there from the angelic world, from the celestial world, that are very honorable, that write down from that. Allama Jalaluddin As-Suyuti rahimahullah, in Al-Haba'ik fi Akhbar al-Mala'ik, in which he has compiled all the different narrations pertaining to the magnificent world of Mala'ika, Al-Haba'ik fi Akhbar al-Mala'ik, he makes mention that the Quran that is mukarrama, that is marfu'a, that is mutahhara, that is in the Lawh Mahfuz. So this is one place where the Quran has been protected, safeguarded, but there's another place where the Quran is protected as well, and that is on the forehead of Hazrat Israfil alayhi salatu wassalam. And he said each letter of the Quran is larger than the mountain of Uhud. I gave you the reference of the book Al-Haba'ik fi Akhbar al-Mala'ik of Allama Jalaluddin As-Suyuti. So this is the magnificent world of Mala'ika has been discussed in this book. And he said the forehead of Israfil, the entire Quran has been written on the forehead. And each letter is larger than the mountain of Uhud. Kitni lambi badi pashani. How humongous and giant of an angel is Israfil. But we should not be mesmerized and baffled and blown away by the size of Israfil. We should focus and deliberate upon the greatness of Allah, the one that created Israfil. Kitne bade Allah, how magnificent is Allah. Bi'aydi safara. So safara is the plural of safir, and safir means scribe. That there are scribes there that write, that copy, that write. Kiramim barara, honorable and obedient. If they are copying from the preserved tablets, We should know that these scribes, these angels, these malaika are honorable and obedient. There's no distortion that takes place. There's no alteration to the order, to the divine order that takes place. There's no cheating. Everything that has been ordered is perfectly copied or inscribed in the preserved tablet. Does that make sense? All right. Now, so from verse number 13 to verse number 16, Allah makes mention of the merit of the Quran and where the Quran is lying. Now the theme of the surah once again will change. The theme of the surah once again is going to change. Now Allah Almighty in the verses coming is propelling us, compelling us to deliberate, to ponder over our inception. Because many a times ego, kibr, arrogance does not allow a person to submit to the will of Allah or to submit to the truth, to the Quran. It is ego, it's nothing else. So Allah Almighty now is drawing each one's attention to their inception, to that day one. So what does Allah say? قُتِلَ الْإِنسَانُ مَا أَكْفَرَهُ. Be cursed. قُتِلَ. It's a past passive verse. In Arabic they call it فعل مجهول. فعل معروف, فعل مجهول. So قُتِلَ, yeah, you can say قُتِلَ الْإِنسَانُ. قُتِلَ is a verb, and in Arabic it is known as a past passive verb. And basically this is used for curse. It's used for curse. Allah Almighty is saying, قُتِلَ الْإِنسَانُ مَا أَكْفَرَ. Be cursed. In reality, قُتِلَ means die. It's from qital, death. But when it's used in the form of past passive verb, then it is used as a curse. Does it make sense? قُتِلَ الْإِنسَانُ. Be cursed. Man, how ungrateful he is. And ma akfara is a verb of wonder, amazement. That be cursed that person. Ma akfara. How can he be ungrateful? It's a verb of wonder, amazement. I'm amazed that how can this person do that? So Allah Almighty is first of all cursing the person and then expressing his amazement that how can this person not submit to the truth. So it's a very powerful verse, but you will have to have deeper knowledge of Arabic grammar to understand how profound this ayat is. But I could only explain to the best of my ability. قُتِلَ الْإِنسَانُ مَا أَكْفَرَ. Now Allah says, مِنْ أَيِّ شَيْءٍ خَلَقَ. From what thing did He create him? That's our inception. Allah Almighty in Surah Mursalat, Surah number 77, verse number 20 says, أَلَمْ نَخْلُقكُّم مِّن مَّاءٍ مَّهِينٍ. Have I not created you from a dirty drop of water? Maheen in reality means worthless. Jiski koi qeemat na ho. Invaluable. No value to it. Allah says, Alam nakhluqkum min ma'in maheen. Have I not created you from a worthless drop of water? Forget about the worth of it. It is problematic. If a person discharges that semen, he has to take a bath. It's problematic. If it touches the clothes, he has to wash the clothes. If it drops on the ground, he has to wash the carpet. Forget about value to it. It is problematic. So Allah Almighty is saying, why? Ma akfar. What is the verb of wonder? How can this person deny when he knows and there is no conflict different opinions upon this, that he has been created from that worthless drop of water that according to Islam is impure. Hazrat Ali radiallahu ta'ala an, who is Babul Ilm, is the door to the city of knowledge, and his words are amazing. He says that a person is so ungrateful, and he's ungrateful because he has stopped focusing upon himself. He has to focus who he is. If he looks at his inception, he has been created from a drop of dirty water. And if he looks at his end, he is the food of the insects in the grave. And if he looks in between, he is carrying stool in his stomach. That's what we are. So our inception is a worthless drop of water. Our end is that we are going to become the food of insects. And in between, when we are kicking, when we are moving, we are carrying poo, stool in our stomach. The only reason why we sit amongst each other, because Allah has placed a veil of skin that does not allow us, me to see yours and you to see mine. But if Allah removed that one veil, Allah. Many years ago there was, as this is recorded so I can't mention names, so there was somebody that was very sick. Allah gave them shifa. So for a couple of days their intestines were placed outside. And I tell you, it was a horrible sight. It was a horrible sight. Just depict and visualize the intestines of a person lying outside. What is the worth of a human being? But when I was studying this ayat many years ago, because I've done the tafseer of this surah multiple times, but many years ago, one thing came to my mind that I share with you. Mother loves the son so much. But if this skin was removed, most probably the son cannot sit with the mother, and the mother cannot sit with the child. But Allah sees everything. Allah sees everything. He sees us with our imperfection, but still He loves us. That is love. He can see through this skin, and He can see, when that stool is being created from food, and even the smell and the stench that is inside, it is not hidden from Allah. Despite so many imperfections, Allah loves us. That is love. And that love deserves obedience. That love deserves obedience. So let's be obedient. So Allah Almighty says, focus upon your inception. Min ayyi shay'in khalaqa. From what did He create him? Now Allah did not allow us to respond because it is obvious. So Allah responded Himself in the next verse and said, min nutfa. Allah responds Himself and says that you have been created from what? Min nutfa, from nutfa. The male and the female semen drop. Khalaqa. He created him. Allah created him. Allahu khaliqus samawati wal ardh. That's why the scholars have said that when you ask dua, you make dua. We spoke about this in Ramadan in Holland Park frequently. Most of my talks were around the dua that we do not give much time to. It's very hard for us to even make dua for 10 minutes. And that is a very sad situation of the ummah, that where we cannot speak with our Creator for at least 1 hour. So the scholars have said that when we speak to Allah, we should make mention of certain quality names. And one of them is Khaliq. Acknowledge day in, day out that He is your Khaliq. So when you're making dua, you say, Ya Khaliqus samawati wal ard. Ya Khaliq, you are the Khaliq of this entire universe. You know, we like to blow our trumpet. We like to speak about ourselves. Think about it. If this boy stands up and he says, Imam Uzair, you wrote that book, it was an amazing book, I'll be so happy. When we speak about Allah, it makes Allah happy. When we acknowledge Him that you are the Khaliq. Now with Khaliq comes Badi', the originator. So first is Badi', the originator. And then it is the Khaliq. Ya Badi'us samawati wal ard. Ya Khaliqus samawati wal ard. Ya Fatirus samawati wal ard. These are the names of Allah. If you only study the 99 names and learn these 99 names, your dua will increase 20 minutes. If you can just learn the 99 names, your dua will increase by 20 minutes. So many different madmoons and madameen and topics will open in your mind. You say, Ya Khaliq. Then you say, the Khaliq of the sun, the Khaliq of the moon. Then you will say, Ya Rahman, Rahman to him, Rahman to him. So many different topics. Nabi Kareem in Arafah made dua for 5 hours. Has to be something. What was he saying? 5 hours. And could not conclude or could not express his deep sentiments in 5 hours. He continued on in Muzdalifah. And what do we do, the Hujjaj? Recommendation that when you go to Muzdalifah, go to sleep. Because we're so tired. Of course, it's a different dynamic nowadays, Hajj. Maybe it wasn't very busy in the time of Nabi Kareem Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but I'm just talking about the wording, the different topics that are in the mind by which a person can express his inner feelings for his Creator. Khalaqa, He is the Creator. Faqaddara. Now there are 2 meanings to qaddara. Now one meaning is that He gave him due proportion. Everything is in balance. Look at the distance between the 2 eyes. Look at the distance between the 2 nostrils. Look at the width of the mouth, the thumb. Many a times a person ends up in the hospital because the heart is enlarged. How many? Only a few. Perfect heart, perfect shape, perfect balance. Look at the shoulder blades. If it is, let's say, 10 inches on this side, it will be 10 inches on this side. And it's so amazing that Allah has used 2 eyes, 1 nose, 1 mouth, 1 face, 2 ears, and created right now 7 billion people in the world, and all look different. There will only be a few in the world that will be alike, identical. Use the same ingredients. And I think sometimes that the best chef in the world, if you gave him the same ingredients and told him to cook different dishes, couldn't do it. He may come up with 5, 10, 15, and that's it. His ilm finishes. Isn't this a manifestation of Allah's khaliqiyat and Allah's qudrat and Allah's might? He used the same ingredients and He creates all of us with those same body parts. And we all look different. And then not only look different, we are different within as well. My feelings, my emotions, my sentiments will not be identical to the sentiments of Ibrahim. It's amazing. What a workshop. What a factory that Allah has created. This factory of insan is a manifestation of His khaliqiyyat. So He proportioned everyone. What does Allah say? هُوَ الَّذِي يُصَوِّرُكُمْ فِي الْأَرْحَامِ كَيْفَ يَشَاءُ. Surah Ali Imran, هُوَ الَّذِي يُصَوِّرُكُمْ فِي الْأَرْحَامِ. Now, the person that is an artist, they call him a musawwir, who makes the tasweer, the picture. Allah says, Huwalladhi, it is Allah who gave you the design in the mother's womb. It is Allah who gave that design. So that child is in the mother's womb. The mother, who is the receptacle, the container of that child, is unaware of that child inside. She doesn't know what's happening. But Allah, He knows, He can see, and He is given him the design in the mother's stomach. Ye hamare Allah hai. He is our Allah. Another meaning of qaddara is taqdeer. So one meaning is qaddara, He gave due proportion. Everything is in balance. The limbs, the body parts, the width, the length, the breadth, everything is in balance, due proportion. Second meaning of the word qaddara is taqdeer, predestination. That this child is in the mother's womb, in different layers of darkness, the belly, the tummy, the amniotic brain. Yes, it's all these are different layers of darkness. And Allah has predestined what this child is about. Imam Baghawi in Mu'alim al-Tanzil makes mention a hadith that Nabi Kareem Muhammad said, the child has not exited, he has not even entered the world, and four things have been predestined. His lifespan. فَإِذَا جَاءَ أَجَلُهُمْ لَا يَسْتَأْخِرُونَ سَاعَةً وَلَا يَسْتَقْدِمُونَ. His lifespan. He's going to live 60 years, 1 day, 3 hours, 20 minutes, 1 second. No more, no less. No more, no less. So his lifespan has been predestined. Allah knows. Second, his sustenance. Now many a times, the word in the hadith is a rizq. And when we hear the word rizq, what comes to our mind? Food. True? Rizq. But in Arabic, in Islam, rizq does not only mean food. It means everything that a person receives from the treasures of Allah. My breath, my blinking of the eyes, my ilm, everything that I have that comes from Allah and everything comes from Him is my rizq. So that has been predestined as well. Everything that a person is going to receive is predestined. No more, no less. And that's why they say that if there's a morsel of food that is destined for a person, he will not die until he consumes it. The whole world can bomb him, try to murder him, but if there's a morsel of food that has been destined for him, he will not exit this theater until he consumes it. So that's the second thing that is predestined. Number 3, his deeds. Good deeds, a'mal salihah, bad deeds, a'mal sayyah. And then how many good deeds? How many bad deeds? Everything predestined. And number 4, if he's going to live happily, or if he's going to live in a state of grief, anxiety, stress, it has all been predestined. خَلَقَهُ فَقَدَّرَهُ. Next one. ثُمَّ السَّبِيلَ يَسَّرَ. Then He makes the path easy for him. Now, there are two meanings to this. ثُمَّ السَّبِيلَ يَسَّرَ. Then Allah makes the path easy for him. Which path is Allah alluding to? So the first commentary, in the previous verses, Allah is speaking about the child in the mother's stomach. Now that child is 3 or 4 kilos. There's a body weight, there's a body structure, and Allah allows this child to enter this world through a very narrow passage. This is the qudrat of Allah Almighty. And the mother does not suffer unduly. Indeed, there is pain, but it is not unbearable. And how beautiful is our religion, just came to my mind, that if a mother dies, giving birth to a child, she is a martyr. Nabi Kareem Muhammad said, if a mother dies giving birth to a child, she is a shaheeda. She is a martyr. She is a martyr. As we live in Brisbane, our community, every Eid al-Fitr, the Deen family, they cook food, you know that? And we have the food. Why do they cook that food? Because of their mother. And she died on Eid al-Fitr giving birth to her child. You should know this. That lady, right, she died on Eid al-Fitr, giving birth to the child. The child died, that is a ticket to Jannah, and the mother died, giving birth on Eid al-Fitr. Nabi Kareem says that if a lady dies, because the pain is bearable, Allah has made it such. But if for some reason there's complications and the mother does not survive, there's no loss for her. Indeed, loss for the living. No loss for her. She goes straight to Jannah. She's a martyr. The second meaning, ثُمَّ السَّبِيلَ يَسَّرَ. Allah has made the path easy. Can be understood from another verse of the Quran. There is a few methods by which we understand the Quran. Tafseer al-Quran bil-Quran. Tafseer al-Quran bil-Hadith. So one is we understand one ayat by the explanation of another ayat of the Quran. So what does Allah say in the Quran? وَهَدَيْنَاهُ Najdain. وَهَدَيْنَاهُ Najdain. We have guided you to the two highways. We have guided you to the two paths. There is one highway that will lead you to the pleasure of Allah. And then there's another highway that will lead humanity to the abyss of hell, to the torture cell. And both pathways, both highways are distinct. Allah has sent many signs in this world that surround us, that allow us to make the right choice. وَكَأَيٍّ مِّنْ آيَةٍ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ يَمُرُّونَ عَلَيْهَا وَهُمْ عَنْهَا مُعْرِضُونَ. Allah has placed so many signs in this world, in the heavens and in the earth. But what happens? يَمُرُّونَ عَلَيْهَا. A person passes those signs, وَهُمْ مُعْرِضُونَ, and he is oblivious. He doesn't take heed. We see one person dying, we don't take heed. What a sign. A person passing away, but that janazah will pass by, or we may even be in the janazah, we will return back, وَهُمْ مُعْرِضُونَ, untouched, oblivious. So Allah Almighty has surrounded the theatre with many signs that are very clear to us. And then furthermore, Allah Almighty sends the Anbiya for guidance and for instruction. So one meaning, second meaning, ثُمَّ السَّبِيلَ يَسَّرَ. Then He makes the path easy for him. It's very distinct. Very clear. Choice is ours. Take the right, Ashabul Yameen, or take the left, Ashabul Shimal. ثُمَّ أَمَاتَهُ فَأَقْبَرَ. Then He causes him to die and puts him in his grave. Now there's a lot of rulings pertaining to this. We're going to stop at that for tonight. We will continue not next week. Next week is Utla, Chutti, holiday. Alright, so we're going to have 1 week break and we will return back to the following Wednesday, and we will start from verse 21 because there are a few fine topics that I would like to discuss under this ayat. Inshallah, we'll make a dua. Allah Rabbul Izzah give us tawfiq to implement what we have heard, and Allah give us the profound love of the glorious Quran. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, wa aqibatu lil muttaqeen, was salatu was salamu ala rasulihil kareem. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. اللهم إنا نسألك العفو والعافية والمعافاة في الدين والدنيا والآخرة. اللهم إنا نسألك تمام العافية ودوام العافية والشكر على العافية. Ya Allah, grant each one of us the best of both worlds. Ya Allah, grant each one of us hayatan tayyibah. Ya Allah, make our future better than our past. Ya Allah, fill our life with bliss. Ya Allah, fill our life with itminan qalb. Ya Allah, fill our life with sukoon. Ya Allah, fill our life with prosperity. Ya Allah, safeguard us from destitution. Destitution in deen and destitution in dunya. Ya Ghaniyu Ya Mughni, Ya Ghaniyu Ya Mughni, enrich us in deen, enrich us in dunya. Ya Allah, give us the best in deen. Ya Allah, give us the best in dunya. Ya Allah, Ya Arhamar Rahimin, before death, at the time of death, and after death, have mercy upon us. Shower your karam upon us. Ya Allah, guide us to your good pleasure. Ya Allah, guide us to your Jannatul Firdaus. Ya Allah, Ya Arhamar Rahimin, all those brothers and sisters that have passed away, shower your mercy upon them, pardon them and forgive them. Ya Shafi, wa idha maridna fahuwa yashfeen. Ya Shafi, whoever is spiritually or physically sick, Ya Allah, Ya Shafi, grant them shifa'i kamila. Ya Allah, all those brothers and sisters throughout the world that are mazloom, Ya Allah, come to their rescue. Ya Allah, send your nusrah. Ya Allah, those that are zalim, Ya Allah, grant them hidayah. Ya Allah, if hidayah is not in their destiny, treat them as you will. Ya Allah, spread hidayah in the entire world. Ya Allah, make the Ummat-e-Salbi a part of the Ummat-e-Ijabi. Ya Allah, make this world conducive to Islam. Ya Allah, make the hearts conducive to Islam. Ya Allah, make the environment conducive to Islam. Ya Allah, all the negativity around Islam that people have created, Ya Allah, you are the best planner. Ya Allah, allow Islam to be on the top of the podium. Ya Allah, allow the Muslimin to be on the top of the podium. Ya Allah, grant us dignity, honor. Ya Allah, grant us sovereignty. Ya Allah, grant us your rida and your divine friendship. Ya Allah, in this Mubarak Majlis, whatever we have asked for, if it is favorable, Ya Allah, grant it to us. Ya Allah, if it is not favorable, grant that is favorable. Ya Allah, if we have asked for something that we should not ask for, or the method in which we have asked is incorrect, Ya Ghafurur Rahim, pardon us. Ya Kareem, if there's something that we should ask for, that we have not asked for, Ya Kareem, grant it to each one of us. Ya Allah, accept all our supplications, fulfill all our permissible needs, safeguard us from all kinds of ibtila. Ya Halimu, Ya Alimu, Ya Aliyu, Ya Azim, istajib du'a'ana, washfi maradana, wa marad al-muslimin warham mawtana. Ya Ghafir al-dhanb, ighfir lana. Ya Qabil al-tawb, iqbal tawbatana. Ya Shadid al-iqab, la tu'aqibna. Ya ذا التول تل علينا بخير. يا غافر يا غفار يا غفور الرحيم اغفر لنا ولوالدينا ولجميع مشائخنا ولجميع أحبابنا ولجميع المسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات الأحياء منهم والأموات وصلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين برحمتك. السلام عليكم.